So today on Whiskey Pop, we're going to be talking about
Dark Crystal. That's right. The 1980s hit after Jim Henson did the Muppet Show and all the Muppets. They decided to do the first live action film with only puppets.
We're talking 1982 here.
In 1982. I mean, that was unheard of back then. And of course now we have the Dark Crystal TV series. But
Yep.
Hey, so join us today because we're going to talk about
The Dark Crystal.
Right after this.
Welcome to Whiskey Pop. I'm Zane.
And I'm Jeff.
And today we're talking about...
The Dark Crystal.
Now, is that talking about Muppets still?
And we're still on the Muppets.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, the Muppets were so impactful for pop culture.
That's right.
It doesn't make any sense not to do a Dark Crystal episode, right?
Well, I mean, we're talking about a movie of magnitude here.
That's huge.
It's amazing. It took how many years? Like 7?
5 years to make that movie.
5 years to make a movie because puppeteering is not easy.
No, on top of that, puppeteering to make a live-action film is even harder than making an animated film.
I have seen some behind the scenes. Have seen behind the scenes?
I have seen behind the scenes.
I have seen some behind the scenes, and their sets were ridiculous.
Yeah, and that continued in the new series that they did for Netflix. I mean, they built out these gigantic sets. And so it's like that history is just always there of this practical effects, practical real stuff mixed with this puppeteering. And then it's amazing.
Yeah, and the likes of the Dark Crystal gave birth to interests of people like Guillermo del Toro, who likes to do practical effects.
He does.
Still today, because it just works on camera.
I mean, and you have to admit that even Yoda is cooler as a practical effect, as a puppet, than he is as some CG character.
Well, yeah, the child is a puppet.
That's right.
And
what, a $3 million puppet?
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
But it acts. It's an actor.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about Muppets. The Muppets kind of bring this human aspect of acting. We know they're puppets.
Yeah, of course.
But you kind of lose that whole mysticism
Except,
of that.
again, do we really? I mean, when I watched the Skeksis walking around, you couldn't tell me that they were...
Puppets?
Puppets.
There were 6 puppeteers running one Skeksis.
I mean... It's ridiculous. That must have meant they were huge, like 8 feet tall or something to be able to pull them off.
I think I've seen some in, they've rebuilt some recently. They've done kind of refurbished them because they found a few that were tucked in a corner and they were just decimated.
Yeah.
But I think they're only like 4 feet tall.
4 feet tall and you get 6 people to run it.
They get 2 people inside that thing, people running like the eyes and the arms and the feet. I mean, it takes a lot to run one Skeksis. And remember, those guys are based off the 7 Deadly Sins. So there's 7 of them.
Oh, I don't know if that's actually the case. I mean,
no, it's true.
You're educating me on
so
this
the Skeksis are based off the 7 Deadly Sins. So each one is like greed, slothfulness. I mean, yeah, each one of them. If you
drunkenness, because hey,
yeah, Chamberlain.
Guess what? I think it's time that we
open some whiskey.
No, today let's do something a little bit different. How about something a little bumbu?
Like darker?
Something a little more sinister.
Dark. Hide the rum.
Today, we're having rum.
Rum? Dark rum.
It's dark rum. This is Bumbu.
Bumbu.
And, oh, isn't that a beautiful bottle?
It's a nice bottle. Hopefully it tastes as good as it looks.
Hey, do you want to try this?
I do want to try it.
Okay.
Will you pour it?
I will pour it.
Pour it. Now, I'm not used to rum. Not used to rum. It's different than whiskey. You ever want?
Why does it smell like tires?
That's part of rum. Okay, hang on. Let's really think about it.
Okay, I'm gonna. It has like a gooey smell, if there is such a thing.
Like molasses? Maybe? You know, I'm so used to drinking whiskey to have rum, which is stored in barrels. This rum, I think, if I remember right, is stored in sherry oak cask.
Well, that'd be interesting. I'm wanting to try it, but I'm kind of scared.
Well, let's just dive into this thing. You first.
Is this mellow corn?
No, you already used all that.
Okay, let's do this.
Oh, wait. The smell does not match the taste. That's not bad. It's kind of...
It's not bad.
Buttery. Oh, come on. Hang on, try again. Okay, it's licorice.
Don't tell me that. I'm trying to get through it.
It does kind of have a rubber eraser taste.
What's wrong with me? Why do I love bourbon so much?
Surely you're not a pirate.
Yeah. That makes me sad.
Okay, so dark crystal.
Dark crystal and rum. It goes together like, I don't know.
Well, think about it. This is a planet Thra that is corrupted when a superior being decides to be greedy.
That is correct.
Causing a crystal to, spoiler alert, break.
That's right.
And a shard is sent out away from the crystal, splitting up this entity into 2 species.
That's right.
And then the world is corrupted from that point forward.
It is. It's a great storyline.
It's an incredible storyline.
And there's so many different types of characters. I mean, if you were going to sit there and digest the whole idea of the movie, there's sages upon sages, there's action, there's your hero and heroine and whatnot. But look at just the practical of like Ogra, for instance.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a character that is played, if I remember right, by, obviously,
I'm going to not say Frank Oz.
Frank Oz.
Yes.
Sachi? Sachi? Gelfling? Gelfling?
Gelfling?
We see Gelfling? Yes?
Then there's Chamberlain, right?
Trial by stone. Trial by stone. Trial by stone. Jeez!
I think we could quote this movie all day long.
Probably. But the thing is, okay, let me ask you this, Jim. Did it impact you as a kid?
I think it did. So I'm sitting in a movie theater in 1982.
Okay.
I know I'm in for something. Not sure what. I mean, I know the Muppets, right? You all know the Muppets. And I think I'm used to that whole zany feeling of the Muppets. I can remember as a kid watching the first time seeing Jen run across this section in the Mystic home world, the home area that they're in. And I remember thinking to myself for a minute, holy crap, they just had a Muppet run across like a regular human.
Yeah.
And I know as a kid, I'm not stupid. That's a puppet, but it's not a puppet. And they took puppetry to a whole new level.
Yes.
I mean, so there was so much animatronics.
Yes.
And then they mixed it and blended it with this whole giant story illustrated by Brian Freud.
Which
is,
again,
oh my gosh,
he's a king of illustrated.
Yeah, I mean,
he has a book about trolls that is ridiculously awesome.
If you go out and look up for Brian Freud's Fairies book, I mean, I don't think you can get that for less than like $200 now.
It's ridiculous. It's awesome. The line work he does is, I mean, he's on par with line as like guys like Frank Frazetta and others. And
Henson brought him in to specifically do all the design elements of this movie, so it just seeps his work.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I would say it's as his design cues were every bit as important to this movie as what's the guy, Gallagher, whatever.
H.R. Geiger.
H.R. Geiger.
If you know who H.R. Geiger is, the guy who designed all the Alien stuff you've seen in Alien.
Without that key, that look, that eye, you just wouldn't have the same.
I don't think Dark Crystal will be anything without him.
No.
And they knew this, so when they did the new series, they brought him back in. They brought his wife in. They brought his son in. And they all helped design the new look as well. So it's carried on as they've continued. But man, the Dark Crystal, it did something different. So as a kid growing up, it showed me the legitimacy of puppetry in a way that it's never been presented. We saw Sesame Street.
Sure,
we saw The Muppet Show, but we had never seen live action movie with puppets. And I mean, there's not a single human being in the shot.
That's right.
So I mean, that takes a lot. I remember like the Landstriders.
Oh, of course.
Those were people hunched in with stilts on their feet and their arms to run.
And it made a completely believable terrestrial being that was so alien at the same time.
But it's not CG, it's real.
It's practical.
I mean, that just blows me away.
Even like when you think of what would have been CG in that movie, it's probably just painted backdrops. It's actually been painted.
I think the only thing that's painted maybe is the backdrop from
Yeah,
that film.
and that's the thing.
Everything is real.
It's amazing.
And so, I mean, there's so much craftsmanship thrown in there. There's so much story thrown in there. And there's so much development of creatures in a world that we'd never heard of. They don't make films like this anymore. And I think that's why it makes Dark Crystal a great 80s film.
Yeah. I mean, do you like Dark Crystal? Do you hate Dark Crystal? The question is not so much like, is it your cup of tea or not? More so, do you recognize the genius behind it? And that to me is the main push behind this film.
And I've always found that people who don't like the Dark Crystal are like, well, it's just puppets. And they've never really given it the chance of what it really is. I know when the new series came out on Netflix, what's the Resistance? Was it the Resistance, the Birth of the Resistance? Oh, Rise of the Resistance.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, how can they make a prequel of this? I mean, it's going to end with the Dark Crystal, and the way they developed it and pushed it, they could do this for multiple seasons. And it's like, wow, I mean, this world is so expansive and so big, and it's something that came out of like 1980s.
Oh, right.
Once again, though, here's the 1980s giving everybody the inspiration to create something that was already made for them. And so, but I think if you haven't seen The Dark Crystal, and you've gone all these years without seeing it, you really need to go see it. If you have, and you haven't seen Rise of Resistance, I mean, you're really missing out. I can't believe this guy hasn't seen it, and we're gonna fix that. But you know, funny. I was doing all this research on Dark Crystal, right?
Oh yeah. What now?
I discovered something. Did you know there is a drinking game for the Dark Crystal?
Drinking game? No, there's not.
There is.
Jeffrey wrote a drinking game for
No.
Crystal.
You get on. Hey, I will put a link down below to prove that I'm not the one that came up with this. But there is a Dark Crystal drinking game. It's existed for a really long time. So what do you say? You want to do a little Dark Crystal drinking?
Oh, of course I'll do some Dark Crystal drinking.
So you know what? Stay with us, because right after this, we're going to watch the Dark Crystal and see who's still standing.
Well, that's going to be me.
Right. So you ready for this?
I don't know if I am or not.
Yeah? We're going to do a little Dark Crystal drinking game.
Dark Crystal drinking game.
Yeah.
So are these really complicated rules for a drinking game?
Okay, we'll go over the rules real quick. So if someone says, I don't understand, take a drink.
Okay.
If it says, someone says master or gelfling, take a drink.
Okay.
If someone says, let's say Jin plays his flute,
yeah,
take a drink.
Okay.
If somebody shows the crystal, or if they talk about the crystal, you have to take a drink.
Okay.
And then if Fizzgig makes a noise, a little furry guy,
I know what Fizzgig is.
you gotta take a drink.
Okay.
Not bad, right? But if somebody drinks essence of a gelfling or a podling, you raise your glass and then you take a drink.
Okay, raise our glass.
If a Skeksis or a mystic dies, raise your glass, take a drink. And then the fun one is, if someone says trial by stone, you have to drink your whole drink.
Okay.
And then if a mystic dies, or a Skeksis dies, you have to take a drink, which the rule is, if a mystic, spoiler alert, if a mystic dies or a Skeksis dies, one of them is going to die too.
Oh, I see
You know what I mean?
So, okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
I'm going to start this thing.
Okay. What is the least alcoholic beverage we've got on the table?
Whiskey.
That's what I thought.
Reach the stone! Get out there! Move!
Trial by stone. So just to clarify, within 20 minutes, Zane chucked. That's right. It's real here at Whiskey Pop. Couldn't get any more real than that. Just to update everybody,
I feel better.
Zane has a different shirt on because, well...
Because this is where the magic happens.
where you throw up ends up all over your shirt.
Stop it.
So, clarify, Mexican food before a drink off on Dark Crystal, probably not the best idea. Is that still old school?
That's gross, bro.
So anyway, fun continues. Flash jump. That's it on the Dark Crystal. So
Don't play this game.
don't play this game, right?
Don't eat Italian or Mexican food. Says Gelfling, I can hear it in my head. Drink it.
No.
We'll see you guys next week.
Can I see my whisk?
No, you may not.
If you like what you saw or you don't like it, that doesn't matter.
That's right.
Share what we do.
Yeah, so share, like, subscribe right here.
And get the notification bell. He doesn't like it when I pretend like I don't know where it is.
Because it ain't over here. It's right here in the middle.
It's usually right here.
The bell actually it's when you go to subscribe. But regardless of that, hey, we're really happy that you're here today and hanging out with us.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
a lot of fun. I mean, Dark Crystal, I mean, it's an amazing film, right?
It's amazing. And it doesn't matter if you are a huge Ogre fan.
Or a Gelfling fan.
You've got a place on Whiskey Pop. It's easy to be here. Let me tell
Absolutely.
you.
So make sure you subscribe so you know when we're having our next episode. And I think next week we're going to talk about The Labyrinth.
Oh my gosh.
Another epic Jim Henson movie.
I mean, look, Jeff, I love very few things in life.
But you love David Bowie. Yeah, and the Wallworm.
Well, you know I love the Walmart.
So regardless of that, hey, thanks for hanging out with us. Catch us next time.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys. And continue to be geeky.
It's imagination. Silent